The Sultan of Brunei owns a private Boeing 747. Its wash basins are made of solid gold. The jet itself cost about $100 million to build. Decorating it cost another $130 million on top of that, more than the aircraft itself. A private jet isn't really a way to skip the airport. It's a legal loophole that happens to have wings. Level 1. Cirrus Vision Jet. $1.96 million, the cheapest legal way into private jet ownership on Earth, and it comes with a whole aircraft parachute in case the single engine fails. That's not a metaphor. There is a literal parachute built into the airframe, large enough to lower the entire plane, passengers included. You still need to be a licensed pilot to fly it yourself. This level doesn't buy you freedom from effort. It buys you the right to attempt the effort in a jet instead of a propeller plane. Most buyers here aren't billionaires. They're successful business owners for whom the aircraft, thanks to 2025's tax changes, is now effectively subsidized by the government the moment they put it into business use. The Vision Jet is the first step in what is, for a top bracket buyer, increasingly a tax-optimized asset acquisition that happens to also be a way to get to meetings. Level 2, HondaJet Elite 2. Up to $5.9 million, twin-engine redundancy, a proper cabin, and Honda's first aircraft ever, engineered by the same company that makes lawnmowers and motorcycles. Triple the price of Level 1 buys you a second engine and enough cabin to stand up in. A second engine means the aircraft can lose one and still land safely. The HondaJet is also quietly one of the most efficient jets in its class. The overwing engine design, which looks distinctive enough that people comment on it at every FBO, also produces measurably lower fuel burn and drag compared to a conventional layout. Honda's engineers solved a problem that every other small jet manufacturer had accepted as a given. Level 3, Gulfstream G700. Approximately $78 million. The current flagship of ultra-long-range business aviation, with a cabin long enough to park 4 cars inside and a dedicated master suite with its own shower. Only around 50 of these exist worldwide right now. At this level, the wait for delivery is longer than the flight itself will ever be. Order books stretch years out, and buyers are effectively reserving a production slot rather than purchasing an existing airplane. The G700 can fly non-stop from New York to Tokyo, which is a range of roughly 7,500 nautical miles. This is not a feature most people need, but the people who need it have structured entire business models around having it. The jet is not the expense. The alternative to the jet is the expense. The buyer at this level does not own one aircraft. He is evaluating aircraft the way a finance professional evaluates positions, with a cost-benefit framework that includes depreciation schedules, charter revenue potential, operational cost, and a resale value projection. The Gulfstream wins that analysis. Level 4, $118.5 million. This is a Boeing 737 MAX 9, the same airframe airlines use to fly you to a connecting flight, converted entirely for one owner. Above this line, private jets stop being purpose-built machines and start being commercial airliners that someone decided to gut and rebuild from scratch. The conversion process alone can take longer than building a Gulfstream from a clean sheet, because every system designed for 180 economy passengers has to be torn out and replaced with something designed for one. The crew required to fly a 737 is larger. The maintenance requirements are airline grade, and the airports you can use are constrained by the aircraft's size in ways a Gulfstream is not. The buyer at this level has weighed all of that and decided that the ability to have a proper conference room at altitude was worth the trade-offs. He runs board meetings at 35,000 feet. He did not change his schedule for this meeting. He changed his altitude. On July 4th, 2025, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act permanently restored 100% bonus depreciation for business aircraft, reversing a phase-out that had already dropped the deduction to 40% and was headed to zero by 2027. Under the new law, a business that buys a $10 million jet and places it in service can deduct the entire $10 million against its taxable income in year one, generating roughly $3.7 million in tax savings for a buyer in the top bracket. Private aircraft sales jumped roughly 30% compared to 2 years earlier. The government isn't just allowing this ladder to exist, it's quietly paying a share of the bill for everyone standing on it. Level 5. Sultan of Brunei's Boeing 747-430. Approximately $230 million total, the aircraft itself cost roughly $100 million. The Sultan then spent another $130 million turning it into what's nicknamed the Flying Palace. Gold-plated fixtures, and yes, those solid gold wash basins. This is the level where the plane stops being an aircraft with amenities and becomes a residence that happens to have wings attached. Personal luxury fit-out on a sovereign's private aircraft isn't a deductible business expense under any tax code on Earth. At this altitude, for the first time in the video, the government stops subsidizing the latter. There is also a question worth asking about gold sinks at 35,000 feet. And it is not about the aesthetics, it is about weight. Gold is approximately 19 times denser than water. Fitting gold fixtures into an aircraft is an engineering decision that costs in fuel and range, not just in purchase price. The Sultan's team made that decision deliberately. The plane flies with real gold in it, burning additional fuel to carry the weight of that gold on every flight, which is the most expensive way to wash your hands that has ever been documented. Level 6, Boeing 747-8 VIP, approximately $367 to $400 million total. Hong Kong billionaire Joseph Lau's Boeing 747-8 has 2 full levels connected by a spiral staircase, a wine cellar, and a private office large enough to run board meetings mid-flight. This isn't a jet with a house-like feature anymore. It's a house on 2 floors that occasionally reaches 500 miles an hour. The 747-8 was originally designed by Boeing to carry roughly 410 passengers in a standard airline configuration. Lau's version carries, by most accounts, fewer than 20. The entire remaining volume of a commercial airliner converted into a single private residence. Level 7. Reportedly around $500 million. In 2007, after seeing an Airbus A380 on display at the Dubai Air Show, Saudi Prince Al Walid bin Talal commissioned the world's first fully private version. A concert hall, a Turkish bath, a garage for his cars, a stable to transport horses and camels, and a prayer room with a floor engineered to always rotate toward Mecca. By most credible accounts, the aircraft was never actually finished. Airbus stopped building A380s entirely in 2021 for lack of demand. The commercial version of the exact same airframe couldn't find enough airline customers to stay in production, let alone finish one custom-built for a single private owner. Every level below this one was about what money can buy. This level is about what money commissioned but could not deliver. Not because the buyer ran out of funds, but because the manufacturer ran out of aircraft. A man with more money than the GDP of several countries ordered the largest private aviation project ever attempted and was defeated by the commercial aviation market's inability to find enough airline customers for the same airframe. The Sultan of Brunei's gold sinks were real, built, and delivered. The prince's rotating prayer room, by most accounts, never left the drawing board. Every level in this video, except the very top 2, got a little bit cheaper in 2025, courtesy of a tax law most of the people watching this will never personally benefit from. Somewhere past a certain altitude, money stops buying the plane and starts buying the idea of one.